I'm going to read the following statement from the Standing Rock Medic and Healer Council. Trying this video for the fourth time, actually, but I think we're good now. The physicians and tribal healers with the Standing Rock Medic and Healer Council call for immediate cessation of use of water cannons on people who are outdoors in 28-degree Fahrenheit ambient weather with no means of active rewarming in these conditions. As medical professionals, we are concerned for the real risk of loss of life due to severe hypothermia under these conditions. Now, here's what's going on, man. Before I continue, I'll put these numbers on the description box, but let me go over them really quick right now, because I'm not redoing this video, so I want to get this information out, right? And I can't stress enough to share this information. North Dakota's Office of the Governor, phone number 701-328-2200. Currently this weekend, don't call that number due to the fact that it's full. I already called, all right? The mailbox is full, that is, all right? Morton County Sheriff's Department, 701-328-8118 or 701-667-3330. You could give them a call. North Dakota's National Guard, phone number 701-333-2000. You call the Senator of North Dakota at 202-456-1111. You can always rewind if you need any of those numbers repeated. Look at the description box, right? What is that going to do? Well, I mean, it's something. I think numbers and saying, hey, I'm a citizen of the United States and I demand that you stop the action that you're taking. Be blunt. Say you've seen the video evidence. They're all over YouTube. There's no hiding here. This isn't a he said, she said situation. We have evidence. There's video footage of it. Right? Now, there are a lot of individuals out there that are just either they're in denial or they just don't want to feel guilty about anything. So they just, you know, and I understand that, right? A lot of people have a lot of their own shit to worry about and then putting this in people's conscience. But I'm going to put it in your conscience, right? There, because it has to be put out there. What's happening here is wrong. It's not right. This is not right. You know, you can't allow the oil companies to do this. I mean, this is unbelievable. But, you know, unfortunately, a lot of people are taking the word of the police, of the government, and of the media. The same people they say that they never trust. They're taking their word for it. You got the sheriff out there saying, no, we don't have water cannons. I don't know what you're talking about. Even though there's clear evidence of militarized vehicles with water cannons on them. But again, he justifies it by saying, no, those are water hose from the, that's how they are. They're not fire cannons. Really? Now, given the fact that even though they are well, not fire, but water cannons, they are, and there's evidence to support that, even if it wasn't, right? Pouring water on people, even if it was just a water hose, right? Under those weather condition, could be classified as torture. That's why many of them were hospitalized. Peaceful protesters that were praying. That's the reality. Now, my last video, I said the following. I said, look, we had militiamen in Oregon, armed militiamen in Oregon, right? Take over a federal building with arms. And they were treated with white gloves by the federal and state officials. Let them just take over a building forever, right? For over a month. In court, they were found not guilty. They were just, they were just peaceful protesters. That's all they were, according to the jury, right? They were just exercising their First Amendment right. That's it, right? So when I mention that, right, when I say things like, man, if those were natives taking over a federal building, we all know what would have happened. We know what would have happened. If it was any other group, you know what would happen. Everybody knows. I'm not saying that to cause division or stir up the pot or bring up race to it. That's not why I'm bringing it up. I'm bringing it up to put perspective. You got to put perspective. You got to be realistic. What is it about natives that gets so dehumanized to the point that people just don't care? What is it about it? What is it about the natives that are still treated till this day like shit by this country? I mean, hasn't this country done enough? I mean, at what point do you say, okay, you know what, enough? At what point do people say, okay, all right, leave these natives alone? I'm not saying give them I'm not even saying give them anything. I'm saying leave them alone. That's all I'm saying. This is not a hostile takeover. Now, why am I bringing that up? Why is that relevant, right? It's not. I wouldn't be making this argument that it's not a hostile takeover just for the sake of doing it. That's because that's the narrative that's being put out there by officials. That this is a hostile takeover. These are some of the most peaceful protesters I've ever seen, right? They're literally on their knees praying. It's crazy to think, that we are where we are. It's crazy to think that we're in this situation right now. Well, I'm here to say that, call it cliche, call it whatever you want. It's definitely not the popular position, I'll tell you that. I'm standing with Standing Rock. If I could be there right now, I would. But right now I can't. Right? If maybe mid-December, we'll see. But I can't be there. But what I can do is just use this platform to give some voice to it. And hopefully more people will start talking about it. But that's all I could do. There's nothing else I could do. I could call those numbers and really bother the shit out of them. There's a lot of things wrong with this whole situation, right? Number one, they are in their sacred lands. They're in their sacred lands where their ancestors are buried. Natives are very spiritual people. To them, they are desecrating their ancestral lands. I mean, not only, and I'm going to make a legal argument right now too, all right? But the reality is, any federal law above any state law, or federal law for that matter, above any laws or any jurisdictions, above anything, one thing that is not debatable is that this was their lands first, right? You can't in any way, shape, or form make arguments against illegal immigrants that this is your land, blah, 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 if you don't put natives first. They had most of their land stripped from them, taken from them, and they were left what they were left. And now what they were left is starting to be desecrated still. In the year 2016. I can't just not say anything about that. This isn't about making anybody feel guilty. It's about reality. It's the reality of the situation. Right? You think they're just protesting just because? Why do you think they're just protesting? Just because? Or what? Now, that alone is a winning argument, but let's go further. Right? Let's go further. By United States law, that's Army Corp land. Right? That is federal land. State police, all right, should not, they have no jurisdiction there. They should not be there. Their presence there is absolutely illegal, right? So they can, talk all they want. Now, you won't hear this in the media. They won't tell you this, even though it's the truth. It's a violation of the Constitution. It's a violation of the treaty, right, that they signed with these natives. But, this country has a history of violating the treaty, so whatever, right? Or for what it's worth, I'm mentioning it. This just isn't right. I can't just stand and see this. I just can't just let this be, right? Something has to be said. Something has to be done. Had someone in one of my previous videos put in the chat, hey, Alex Jones did a video about this, and he sided with the oil companies. Now, look, I haven't listened to the video, so I don't know. It would have shocked me, though. A lot of the talking points that Alex Jones puts out there are talking points that are pushed a lot by the oil companies, right? A lot of these conspiracy theories out there that they're funneled a lot by the oil companies. That's the reality. You could actually link that stuff. All right? Right now, aside from it being sacred land to them, aside from all that, this pipelines leak all the time, right? All the time they leak. And the reality is that this is a danger to water in the area. They're fighting to protect water in the area. And I'm seeing, individuals on social media mock that. Like if it's something to mock, they're calling it it's just the liberals overreacting. Really? Water is a liberal thing? It has nothing to do with being liberal, conservative, protecting water. Nothing. Because the fact is we need water to survive. That's the reality. And water, whether you're religious or you're not, is a sacred thing. Okay, H2O is a very sacred thing. We need it, right? We need water to survive. So you think these billionaires, okay, that are funding these puppets over there in Washington, right? You think they give a shit about the water of those people in North Dakota? They don't give a fuck about the water in North Dakota. They don't give a fuck about the water of the masses anyway. Because if all our fucking water got contaminated, right? You know who would be the first to get a hold of good, clean water? The rich. Right? They're not worried about it. Water is a source at the earth provided for all of us. And these motherfuckers, they don't care. If you don't care about water, that's fine. Right? You don't care about clean water, that's fine. I don't want to hear. I just. Oh, I shouldn't say that. I was going to say I don't want to hear any crying when the pipeline breaks. But all those people calling these natives terrorists and shit like that, when one of those pipelines breaks, which is bound to happen because it almost always happens, right? And it dirties the fucking water. It's going to affect, first of all, the people trying to protect the water right now, right? But it's also going to affect you, right? It's going to affect you and your family. So it's nobody wins in that situation, right? Nobody wins in that. Nobody. This is disgusting what's going on. It's almost like out of a movie. Like you just can't. I honestly believe a lot of people like just think it's being over exaggerated. That it's just come on, it can't be that bad. I think there's just it's just they're over exaggerating the whole thing. Look, they're saying it's going to get worse, right? They're saying it's going to get worse, and it probably is, and it's going to get really bad. What I can't get over is or past is the fact that the police are just flat out lying. Say they're not targeting protesters with rubber bullets. Well, in that case, why the fuck do you have the rubber bullets to begin with? Why do you have them then? Why do they exist? Well, what's the water cannons about? We don't have water cannons. Yes, you do. You know what's unbelievable about nowadays is that a lot of government officials, for whatever reason, believe that if they just say no, it's not, no, we don't, right? Like they just think people will just believe it, even if there's video evidence of it. It's crazy. It's crazy to see like on the top of a hill, these militarized police armed and shit, like as if like they're being confronted by, you know, armed rebels or something. It's unbelievable to see that. It is almost surreal in a way. It's a very surreal thing when you see that. It's like, wow, they're actually doing this. This is actually happening. Like they're armed and ready. I mean, the tear gas. Gee, these dudes are just ready to use tear gas on peaceful protesters who all they're trying to do is protect water, ancestral home, where their ancestors are buried. Natives are very spiritual people. This matters a lot to them. So that's the thing. Now I was going to do a video titled, and I might still do it, I don't know, but I was going to title it, "This Is It, Obama." That's what I was going to title the video. Right? I probably won't. I don't know. I'm still thinking. Because he's not going to do it. Right? But if I were to do it, how about I do it now? You see, right now, Mr. President, Mr. I'm worried about my legacy. You want to know what your legacy is? Your legacy is nothing. Your legacy is a continuation of the same atrocity as committed on Native Americans for centuries. That's your legacy right now, for the time being. There's one individual with the power of stopping what's happening right now. One. Well, two. The governor of North Dakota could do something, but he won't. He can't do anything federally, but he can, there's some things he can do, right? But the president of the United States of America, right, can do something about this. And he does nothing. How can you sit in the White House? How can you give medals to Tom Hanks and Michael Jordan and, Ellen, and give medals to medals of freedom? Which I'm not saying you shouldn't do that stuff, right? But how can you, make that a priority, yet you do nothing for the natives right now? Who, you hear a lot about, well, president can't do this, president can't do that, well, that's not the president's fault. And like in this situation, right, Barack Obama can order the North Dakota National Guard to make those police stand down. Right? He can order, hey, in that sacred mountain there, don't touch that mountain. Right? You're not going to touch that mountain. That's Army Corps land. Touch anything there. No, I don't care. Work around it. Go around the pipeline. I don't give a shit. More money, whatever. You're not going to touch that land. That's it. He can do something about it, but he doesn't. And he's not. He's not going to do anything. He can do something about what they're doing to the protesters. Does he do it? No. He's not doing anything about it. He's just standing back, just counting the days so he leaves the White House. That's all he's doing. Giving out medals of freedom and partying turkeys on Thanksgiving. A holiday when we supposedly celebrate natives and white people, coming together and eating together and this, that, and the third, right? Natives taught the white people how to plant and how to plant corn and this, that, and the third, right? It's strange how you celebrate that holiday, yet you treat Native Americans right now. Strange. So, we keep hearing about how all that's in the past, That's what I keep hearing. Look at the level of disrespect for Native Americans. It's not even funny. It's not even funny, the level of disrespect. Right? You got names like Redskins and NFL football teams, right? That Indians logo, it's a fucking disgusting logo for the baseball team. It's a disgusting logo, right? You say something about that. Oh, you're just being politically correct. Shut the. I'm gonna punch you in the face, Mr. Politically Correct. Shut the fuck up. Some things are just fucked up, and it has nothing to do with being politically correct. That's become code word for let me be a fucking bigot. Okay, that's all it's become code word for. It's the retardation of the anti-politically correct movement. It's just as bad as the ultra-sensitive politically correct movement. But I digress. So with that said, man, right, I'm going to go ahead and close this out and say that hopefully you use whatever platform you have, Twitter, Facebook, I don't know, Instagram, whatever, Snapchat, I don't know, right, YouTube, whatever platform you have to put this message out there, right? Look it up for yourself. Look at the video evidence of it. Look at what's happening. And hopefully they put a stop to this. And maybe for once, when it comes to Native Americans, maybe for once, this country does the right thing. For once. Right? We got reservations, right? There are reservations, Indian reservations, right? Natives. With no running water, no electricity. I mean, it's crazy to think of in the year 2016. You know? They were given land that this wasn't that good. The federal government gave them some of the worst land. They broke most treaties. They've been shitting on their own treaties forever. And it's getting to a point where we have to put a stop to it. If this pipeline gets built, right, I don't want to hear, I'm sorry years from now. I just don't want to hear it. And yes, when that pipeline leaks, and I'm telling those people in North Dakota, I fucking told you, okay? Wipe off those fucking, dry those tears. I don't care. When I tell them that, I'm going to tell them the only people who have a right to be upset and angry are the ones that said something about it. All the other motherfuckers, I don't want to hear it. Anyway, I'm out.